If I were the devil, if I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. What'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
So of course whoever edited that did a really, really good job pulling you in of the editing style and the music and stuff like that, and this is very much rooted in sort of very religious, conservative, traditional ideology. However, the guy isn't wrong. And I think the most surprising part is that this was in 1965, and I don't even think the stuff, I mean, I guess I wasn't born then, so I'm pretty sure then it did look really bad, but in my opinion, it wasn't nearly as degenerate as it is now, especially when he talks about being tranquilized with pills and the mesmerizing of like television and sort of like allowing people's feelings and emotions to run amok, but you know, like discourage against hard work and discipline. A lot of that stuff is very relevant today, because like the idea, like, I mean, there are people that literally today spouse hard work, discipline, being consistent, persistence, being on a schedule is all like white supremacy now. You don't get rewarded for hard work anymore, if you're, especially if you're white, or if you're a male, or if you're Asian, whatever, is all privilege, no hard work. If you work out really hard to get your body in shape, you're demonized as fat phobic and stuff like that. So like a lot of stuff that's rewarded is like laziness or stuff that you really had no control over, by like, it's like your skin color of your skin or your sex, your gender, or your sexuality. Like no one rewards hard work anymore, and if you try, someone from the Progressive Party would come out and demonize it some way of being toxic masculinity or white supremacy or something like that, right? The sort of tranquilizing of pills, like America takes up what, 5% of the planet, and my numbers might be a little bit skewed or off. We take up over 80% of the pharmaceuticals or psychotropic medicines. Americans or America is medicated up to its eyeballs, right? And I can make an entire video out of that, but I won't, because I'm gonna make this video quick because my balcony videos are supposed to be quick. The kind of allowing emotions to completely just run amok, because now everything's about your feelings. I feel, my feelings trump everything. And so I'm allowed to scream and yell and throw a tantrum and attack you because your words are now violence, and I am allowed to stalk your home because you disagree with what I agree with. Like, emotions have been allowed to just hit this fucking ceiling fan. The people are literally attacking Taco Bell workers and bus drivers and stuff like that because your emotions are more important than how you feel. You know, the killing of God, faith, or values, and putting government in its place. I also would say if I was the devil, I would definitely convince entire generations and millions of people that slaughtering unborn babies was cool and a thing to do and something to celebrate and bake cakes over and march in parades and flap out your boobs in protest. I would definitely convince a lot of people that 66 million unborn children was okay and something to be upholded as progress. You know what I mean? If I was the devil, I would convince people that normalizing little children talking to adults about sexuality and changing their gender was something to do and you should call it progress. If I was a devil, I would convince a bunch of people that taking little kids to drag shows and pride parades that are hypersexualized, I would convince people to do that because in the name of progress. If I was a devil, I would convince people that allowing adolescents at the age of 13 to cut off their boobs and their genitals in the name of progress. If I was a devil, I would fuck up generations to the point where now you're going to have a whole generation of people going to puberty at 30 years old because they blocked it at 12. If I was a devil, in the name of progress. If I was a devil, I would convince people to move more into the cities, become obsessed with material possessions, become obsessed with money and image and fame, completely disconnected from a real idea of real community, and creating a generation of narcissists that only cares about themselves and no one else. You don't have to be ultra religious to know all these things are wrong. You don't have to be ultra religious or traditional to turn away from these things. You just have to see the negative shit that comes out of it and realize that something's wrong. People keep saying that America is the greatest country on the planet, and in a lot of ways it is. There has a lot of inventions and a lot of innovations, and coming from years of slavery to the point that it become one of the most progressive countries on the planet is something to be applauded. But people are unhappy and sick. People are committing crime. The crime rate has skyrocketed. There's something sick in America right now, and you don't have to be religious to notice it, but you have to turn back to some sort of values. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think of this video in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All that really does help with the algorithm, and you guys have a beautiful day. Bye!